offshore banking is simply the act of opening a bank account in a foreign country. However, they tend to get kind of a bad reputation because they're often used in countries that are tax havens, meaning people in the US will sometimes hide money as a way to avoid paying taxes. Offshore banking itself, however, is not illegal, and there are plenty of good reasons to open an offshore bank account. Today, we're going to talk about offshore banking and the benefits and things to consider when it comes to opening one. So when you think about offshore banking, maybe you think about Leonardo DiCaprio's character in The Wolf of Wall Street, where he would hide money in Swiss bank accounts in order to avoid paying taxes and avoid reporting his income to the US government. Or maybe you think about the Panama Papers or the Pandora Papers, which were two well-publicized investigations into the ways that wealthy people around the world were hiding money in offshore bank accounts as a way to avoid paying taxes. Some of these people were also heading up criminal enterprises, so they were using offshore bank accounts to not only hide money, but also to launder money. But at its core, offshore banking is really just a way for you to store money in another country, which can be really beneficial if you live or work in another country, or if you're supporting someone who lives in another country. If you're using an offshore bank account as it's intended, there can be a lot of pros. First of all, let's say you have a child who's going to college in another country. An offshore bank account in that country can be a really great way for you to give them money in their local currency, and for them to have a private and secure place to store it. Or let's say you have a home in another country, and you want to be able to have the local currency on hand, maybe to make home repairs or even just to go shopping. Having a local offshore bank account can be a great place to put money where you don't have to worry about transferring it or carrying it around with you. And finally, some offshore bank accounts in foreign countries can have really great interest rates, some of which are even higher than in the US. There are also some potential downsides to offshore banking, even if you're using the account completely legitimately. First off, if you're not physically located in the same country as your foreign bank account, it can be hard to access your money. Your bank might have rules around transfers and withdrawals that make it difficult for you to get your money into your home country, or your home country might have rules about how much you're allowed to transfer from foreign bank accounts into your home bank account. Second, sometimes these accounts come with pretty high monthly fees, which means it could be an expensive option. Finally, having multiple bank accounts in multiple countries can make it hard to track your cash. You could end up not paying taxes that you owe in a home country or in the country where your bank account is located, which means you could end up getting charged with criminal tax evasion or even tax fraud. So you may be asking yourself, if offshore banking is legal, why do we associate it with so many illegal activities? People have been known to hide money in foreign countries as a way to avoid having their local governments see how much they're earning and therefore avoid paying taxes. Some people even use it as a way to launder money. So the trick with offshore banking is, if you are going to use it in a legitimate way, you just have to make sure you're following the laws of your home country and the country where your bank account is located. You've probably heard of some of the more popular places to open an offshore bank account, like Switzerland or the Cayman Islands. But there are places all around the world that make offshore banking an appealing option, such as the Netherlands, other parts of the Caribbean, such as the British Virgin Islands or Panama, also places in Asia like Hong Kong and Singapore. A lot of these countries are known as tax havens, meaning if you're making foreign investments, you'll be charged minimal taxes on them. So this can be a really appealing option for expats or people who live in other countries and just want to be able to store their money and invest and earn interest. If you've decided that an offshore bank account is a good option for you, the first step is to research these accounts and look at the fine print to determine what kind of options are available to you. Some of these accounts might have high minimum opening balances or high monthly fees that might eat away into your money. So if that doesn't sound like a good option, you're going to want to search around for something that better fits you. Also, some of these accounts require that you be a high net worth individual. So if you don't have the income or assets that you need, you might not be able to qualify for those particular accounts. Also, if you're deciding to open an offshore bank account, think about how often you might be transferring money. There are rules in the United States with the IRS that if you're transferring more than $10,000 in cash into an account in the US, it's going to be reported by your bank. So you're going to have to potentially owe taxes on money that you're transferring from your offshore bank account into your account back home. If an offshore bank account doesn't sound like a great fit for you and your situation, there are some alternatives that you can consider. First of all, if you're a high net worth individual, private banking can be an option. These accounts often have international presences, which makes it easy for you to travel and live in foreign countries and not have to worry too much about transfers and keeping bank accounts in multiple countries. Another option, which we recently did a video about, are multi-currency accounts. These accounts allow you to hold and transfer money in different currencies, which can be really beneficial if you're sending money often to people in foreign countries, or if you're paid in one currency and you need to be able to spend in another. Finally, if you're just traveling to a foreign country for an extended period of time, you might want to look at just getting a debit card or credit card with no foreign transaction fee. These cards make it easy for you to make purchases or withdraw cash without racking up extra fees. Offshore bank accounts can be a pretty niche product that don't necessarily work for everybody. But if you live, work, or travel extensively in foreign countries, or send money pretty often to people who do, then they can be a really good option. However, if it seems like an offshore bank account isn't the best fit for you, remember that you have lots of options. I'm Chanelle Bessette, and I'm a banking writer with NerdWallet. If you want to learn more about offshore accounts, go check out our website. And if you learned something from this video, hit like and subscribe.